Hello, my name is Khadijah, and I'm here to share my resources, knowledge, and experiences when it comes to buying a home using low to moderate income grants and programs, mostly for the Richmond, North Chesterfield, and Henrico areas of Virginia. So this first video is a general overview. I'm just going to give an eagle eye view of all the programs and grants that I applied for, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what expectations you can have in them, and some tips on how to get started. I am going to have detailed videos for each of the programs and grants that I talk about, and they will have their own videos, and my goal is to keep each of them under 10 minutes. So you might see me looking down from time to time to make sure that I'm staying on pace and talking about everything that I plan to. And I will also do my best to add links in the description box of every major reference that I make in these videos. And yeah, with that, take what works for you, leave the rest. House buying is a very intimate process, and whatever you feel called to, whatever you feel called to do first, go in that direction. The most important thing is to just get started. So with that, let's hop right into it. My introduction to the house buying process was with an organization called NACA. NACA stands for the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. They have very deep roots in housing advocacy, and I'm not going to go super into their history. I might touch on it in their own video, but just to lay down some foundation. In the 90s, NACA was taking on massive banking corporations, and it was taking these banking corporations to court and winning, which is very impressive. Part of one of their major settlements was that they were able to start the house buying program, part of NACA. The benefits of NACA are that there is no down payment requirement, there's no closing cost requirement, there's no private mortgage insurance, they don't take into account your credit score, and they also have a program that if you qualify for it, they can take 1% off of the current interest rate. So the current interest rate is 6.75%. If you qualify for the program, your interest rate would be 5.75%. These are all amazing incentives. And the greatest thing that NACA did for me is that it gave me hope. I saw these things and I thought, I can own a home. You can own a home. It's possible. What this does tell us about NACA is that they are your mortgage lender. They are who your loan is going to be through. They are who's your underwriting is going to be through. So they also even provide realtors that can show you homes. They really have like a full package deal going on. But that also means that their application process is very detailed. It's very in-depth. They are going to look at all of your finances, and they are going to have you get very, very honest about it. I will talk more about that in their video. So my experience, I don't think I was as prepared for NACA as I thought I was. I made it my primary goal to get my house through NACA. And there's some people who are prepared and they get through the whole NACA process in 3 to 5 months and they buy their house. I was not one of those people. I was 4 months in and still felt like I wasn't any closer to buying a house. And there's no failure. There is just learning. There is just learning throughout this entire process. And one of the big things about each and every one of these programs and grants is that you do have to do an introductory workshop. Most of these workshops are very approachable. They're mostly online, 1 to 2 hours. NACA is the only one that has an in-person workshop, and it's about 3 to 4 hours, and people will come up and do testimonials, all that jazz. And most of these programs, after you have gone through the workshop, you will be assigned a housing counselor. Your housing counselor is your bridge between where you are now and buying the home. They're the person that you want to be in communication with. They're the person that you have to practice self-advocacy with at times. If you need to communicate something, communicate it, and communicate it often if you need to. That is my approach. But they're on your side. They want you to get this house. So by starting with NACA, I was much more prepared for the other programs. I had, this folder filled with everything that they'd asked me for. So when I went to the other programs, I had pretty much everything that they needed. And I will tell you all the things that each program needs. So after NACA, my next kind of era, as I call it, is the cast a wide net era. I decided I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna look for other programs, other grants, and the ones that I went for are, I applied for the Homes of VA grant. It's a maximum $10,000 grant that can go towards your closing costs or your down payment. I went for the Southern Community Development and Housing Corporation grant. It's a maximum $30,000 grant, which can also go towards your closing costs or down payment. I also applied for the Virginia Housing Mortgage Assistance, and it is more nuanced. So I will talk more about theirs in their video, because they have both closing costs, but they also have some down payment assistance. It's really based on your loan structure. And I didn't end up using that because it just didn't work out with the type of loan that I decided to go with. And the last program that I applied for is the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust. The Maggie Walker Community Land Trust is an incredible organization. Their goals are around housing stability, keeping homes affordable, building, generational wealth. They have really great structure. So let's talk money for a second. When I started the home buying process, I was making $48,700 a year. And for these programs, you want to make sure that your income, if you're one person, it's dependent on the area that you decide to live in, but generally for one person, you want to make sure that you're making under $61,800 or under $88,800. If you're married, if you have kids, that number goes up. And I'll put up a little image or share something that shows you what those numbers look like. And so I was making $48,700. I was able to get both the maximum amounts for both of those grants, so the $10,000 and the $30,000. And Maggie Walker, they either build new homes or they renovate. They do a really, really great job renovating older homes or other homes. And this house was appraised for $269,000 roughly, and they sold it to me for $190,000. So, much more affordable. And because I got both of those grants, I then had a loan that was $153,000, making home buying very affordable. There are some catches, right? If I sell this house down the road, I do have to sell it back to Maggie Walker, and that's their way of making sure that people don't come in, buy a house, and then just sell it at an absurd uptick, right? And then just make all of this money and keep that same opportunity that they gained away from the next person, which I think makes complete sense. I don't want to get too deep into Maggie Walker right now because I will talk about them, but they have a lot of nuances to how they work, and but it worked for me, so I went with it. I think that that's the bulk of the introductory information that I want to share with you. And my biggest piece of advice, my biggest piece of advice is to go ahead and sign up for all of the workshops. Go ahead and sign up for all the workshops. I'll put the links below. Some of these workshops are only available once a month. Some are only available twice a month. Some of them, you sign up for the workshop and it could take up to 10 days, up to 14 days before you get a housing counselor. So you really want to get the momentum going, and especially because most of these workshops are just virtual. So you can, have your dinner and watch this workshop and already get signed up and into the system of house buying. So that's my big piece of advice. I hope this was a good introductory session for you, and there will be more information in the following videos. Thanks for joining me, and happy early congratulations on your home. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.